So during the West Indies series, we had Joe Root scoring runs as he's been doing for what seems like years now. He made his Test debut 12 years ago now, I think, maybe 11 years, which is it's crazy to think that he's been around for so long, and he never seems to age. I never think, he always he doesn't. He just always seems to have that sort of the cheeky smile inside the sort of face where if you're playing against him, he'd annoy you, but because he's on your team, it's like, oh, he's fine. He's just doing it for a laugh. Um, but obviously, he's been kind of racking up the runs for years now, and obviously during the West Indies series, he surpassed 12,000 runs. And is he ever going to stop Peter? Because it feels like the last couple of years he's just been getting better and better, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I said to the guys I went to the cricket with at Trent Bridge. Um, one of the things that's amazing about Joe Root, we got there just as he hit his 50, and I said one of the amazing things about Joe Root, no matter what format he's in, is that he just accumulates runs without you really recognizing that he's got them.
Mhm.
So, for instance, he got 100 on the day four as well, the day we were there, and it was the same thing. You were having a chat, watching the game, and all of a sudden Joe Root's in his 90s, and he's like, oh, he's done it
Yeah.
again. Like he's got another 100.
It's that
Um,
thing, isn't it, where it's like people say, "Oh, you look up and Joe Root's on 30."
yeah,
It's like it's true.
it's the grass is green, the sky is blue. Joe Root's got 30. Like it's very comforting for English cricket fans. And I think, you said he's been playing now for 12 odd years for England. In that period where he was captain, and basically it was Joe who gets runs or England get nothing. It was very
Mhm.
comforting to know that it was the grass is green, the sky is blue. Joe Root gets 30. Um, those days we've spoke about this many times on this podcast before, of getting up to watch England in the crack of in the dead of night, and watching England collapse to however many for two, and Joe Root's in after after 3 overs or whatever it is. It's refreshing that he's been there, and he had that year. I think it was 2022. Where was what a year where he just kept. He was the biggest run scorer in Test cricket by an absolute
I've
country mile.
Yeah, I've got that in front of me. It was 2021 and he scored 1,700 runs in 29 innings and he averaged 61. And
Where
it's the fourth time in the calendar year where um he's gone past 1,000 runs in a year. And I think looking at it, I think he's on about yeah, he's basically he can very comfortably do it again this year, where he's going to get 1,000 runs. Because obviously there's that many. I think we've got there's another 9 Test matches this calendar year. Obviously, 3 against Sri Lanka, 3 in Pakistan, then 3 in New Zealand. So he could very easily hit 1,000 runs again this calendar year, and it's just you just back him to do it because it's just what he does. And as you said, it's for me, it's nice for him to be able to score runs in a better team. It's nice not seeing him like having to kind of hold himself back and just dig in for hours when there's kind of everyone around him's just falling to pieces. So it's nice. It is a nice change to see. And I think we are seeing the best out of Root in that. I mean, I know you probably remember Peter, but like when Bazball was really sort of taking or getting into its stride, people kind of saying, "Oh well, Joe Root's not really changing up his style," and it's like, yeah, but maybe that's okay. you know, Root was scoring runs doing batting like Joe Root. Like there was no need for him to try and be something
no,
he's not.
no, and I think in Baseball 2.0, which we've kind of seen this summer, he's more Joe Root than he has been since Brendan McCullum has come in. Like that
Mhm.
he I think when he got his 50, he'd faced almost as many balls as Harry Brook had faced to get his 100, and that's you know that's fine. absolutely fine because Harry Brook has his style to get his runs, and Joe Root has his style to get his runs. Both got hundreds. Both put the game beyond the West Indies in the end. I mean, ultimately deemed that one of them could have got 100 and it was enough to win the game for England. But they both did their job. They just did it in their styles. And you can't say that Joe Root's style won't fit in this England team when he has got 12,000 runs. And I've just been looking that he's the second youngest to 12,000 runs. I actually think that by looks of this, if I'm working it out correctly, he is, yeah. I'm looking at this correct. I'm just having a look at the people that got 12,000 runs their age. Alistair Cook beat him, but Joe Root has beaten Sachin Tendulkar to 12,000 runs. Sachin Tendulkar was 35 years, 176 days, and Joe Root was 33 years, 210 days to 12,000 runs. So it doesn't matter. I think what style of play you have in this Bazball team. If it gets you runs, it gets you runs. The question is, how many more can he get?
Mm.
He's 33 years old. What can he do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think looking at it, obviously the players who are above him, I think the next two above him are, off the top of my head, it's Sangakkara and Alistair Cook, and
That's correct. Yeah,
I think
that's
he's
correct.
within about 500 runs of them two. So
Also correct. Yeah,
realistically, I mean, it's going to take for him to have a really bad second half of the year to not considering, there's 9 test matches where, let's be honest, he's going to play in every one of them unless he gets injured. I think that's probably fair to say that, only injury is going to kind of take that number 4 spot away from Joe Root. So I think he's probably going to do that this year. But honestly, with the amount of test matches England play, and I think at the pace and consistency Joe Root gets runs, I mean, it might not be crazy to think that he could beat Sachin. It'll be a hell of a feat, and he's going to have to keep up he's going to have to basically keep up his scoring. But really, when you think about it, yeah, the way he can get runs relatively easily, who knows? Honestly, I think for me the Tendulkar record is one of these where you think, oh, that's going to take some beating that. But I think if you look at the players who are around at the minute, you kind of put your money on Joe Root having the best chance to be able to do that, because I know he's always kind of clubbed in with the Fab Four, isn't he? Where
yeah.
you've
Baba,
got Kane,
Kohli. Yeah,
yeah, um, and I mean looking at it, it's like I was reading, I can't remember who the journalist was, but it was a article like comparing those four since like COVID, and Joe Root is light years ahead of them in terms of like just the number of centuries and the number of runs scored, like just absolutely light years ahead of them. So yeah, I mean, it helps that England do play a lot of Test cricket, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's not a disadvantage. It's not Joe Root's fault that the ECB plan all these have all these Test matches and Test series plan. You know what I mean? Root goes out there, gets the runs, and yeah, I think I think in a couple of years we'll have him beating the big record, and I think what will be brilliant is to have the leading Test run scorer and the leading wicket taker both been English for, well, Anderson's record for me in terms of quick bowling won't be beaten,
I
or at least
think.
it's going to be a very long time.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think anyone's getting near the quick bowler record of Anderson. No way,
No.
no way. And actually, based on where cricket is going, Joe Root's played a lot of Test cricket already.
Hmm.
I don't see many people playing as much Test cricket in the next however many years as Joe Root will play. He's got 143 matches in him at the moment. Sachin played 200 matches, 329 innings. Joe Root's got 261 innings. I can see Joe Root playing that. I can see Joe Root playing 200 matches. I can't see
Hmm.
many people playing 200 matches in the future. You know,
No,
we spoke recently about Jamie Smith. Is Jamie Smith going to play 200 matches, test matches for England? Probably not. Um, so that begs the question: if
no.
Joe Root gets there, if Joe Root gets the opportunity to be able to get close to Sachin's record, I mean, like, if we're gonna think about this, he's got Alistair Cook and Kumar Sangakkara in his sights this year, and then Dravid, Kallis, Ponting are the next three in the list, and they're all pretty close to each other. Dravid is 13,288. Ponting is 13,378. So they're all quite close to each other. And then Sachin's off on his own with 15,921. Yeah, so it's not in the, you know, if Joe Root plays for, well, how many more years do you reckon he's got in? He's 33 now. He can play. He can, if he keeps his body good and his eye stays in, and he doesn't get injured, he could play. He could play. He could play for. You know, if you think about Jimmy, he could play for another 7 years for England.